Okay, at the time, my first thoughts were that she was 15 years old, and I was quite shocked actually that she'd managed to get herself into a different country. At the time, I think I was at this was when I lived with my mum and dad, and I was quite young minded, so in mind I never watched the news, but I do remember her picture coming up, and I also remember her pictures of her friends also coming up, and there was me at the time, and I thought, wow, they are gonna get caught and they are gonna get brought back, and that will be the end of it. Obviously, I've heard that this girl has actually been groomed, which I'm very much empathetic to, because in my own way, and I think a lot of members of the public will know what it's like to be groomed, and also in a toxic relationship where the abuser twists your methods of thinking and gives you a new perspective, and it's a very confusing and overwhelming time. But at the age of 15, and this is what I thought too, it's kind of like a Romeo and Juliet phase, where especially when everybody is actually against you, that you literally do everything you can to be together, and therefore it can make the best of us crazy and do unfortunate things too. And I know it was talked about going how this girl made some really grown-up decisions about catching a flight, going over there, getting her mom's credit card. But I don't see it that way. I see it as a 15-year-old girl wants to go and be with her boyfriend who wants babies with her, who is telling her he wants to be a husband, and it's the caught up in the whirlwind romance of it all, where she's thinking he's her soulmate, that they belong together, that he gets her, and it wouldn't have mattered if people would have told her anything differently, because for her, she was actually being groomed. But she's not gonna know that until she comes through the other way. Therefore, when she talks about her husband on camera, she's not telling us he's a monster who did monstrous things. She's telling us that she wants to talk to her husband. She wants to have contact with him, that at the moment is not in contact. And, you know, it's little things like that, you know, that sort of suggest to me that she's not really ready to leave him. And it's, how can I put this now? It's things that I have watched this girl say in interviews, for example, when she tells us, when questioned, that she knew that this country headed people, and then this girl wants our sympathy when she knew she was going to a country where people headed people, and then telling us that she had no idea what she was signing up for. And for me, that's worrying. And then there's a couple of other things too. It's like when she tells us she only saw her head in a bin. Well, if she only saw her head in a bin, I think that's a cop out, because if I told a person I've only done this, or I've only said something else, that suggests that there is more things going on that she's not going to admit to. So I do get a sense she's holding back from us and not telling us the complete truth. And she talks about, does she have any regrets? And she basically tells us no. She blatantly tells us no, she doesn't have any, and she would do it all over again, or something like that, to that effect. Now, basically, I used to tell people things like this when I was young and growing up. Like, our mum would say, "Do you regret this, Katie?" And at the time I'd be like, no, because it just made me the person who I am today. But no, I don't believe that anymore, because I shouldn't think it is good to be remorseful and full of regret all the time of all the things that you actually do. Or I think it is important to regret things that you have done, because if you don't, that suggests to me she hasn't learned her lesson and she wants to come home. And this isn't the sort of thing to say on live telly. It is almost suggesting that these things that these people have done, our country, raped our women, hacked guys, killed them in front of their wives and children, that's not, and being a part of that in that group isn't regretful enough. My main worry is that she has been brainwashed, completely and utterly brainwashed, and turned against us. and so by letting her back in this country, which of course she isn't now, or at least I hope not. I know she has had a citizenship card revoked, but if she was, there's endless possibilities of what she could still do. Obviously her family wants her back. What family wouldn't? But I don't see how that's possible anymore, because when she said she knew about the beheadings, she's made that stand against us. So other girls who have been to that country, who have been groomed a bit, and they have gone and they are filled with regret and they wish they'd ever gone, and they're crying and please can we come home, we made a terrible mistake, we had no idea this was the way it was. That is why they've come home, and the thing is, this girl isn't in touch with her feelings. She hasn't shown us remorse or regret. And on one hand, because there is a for and against list for this exact thing, who on one hand I get when questioned and probed, you just go into this automatic pilot mode where your emotions are shut down. And then there's another argument that being in a war zone has actually made her sensitized. I suppose you'd have to be to live there, to witness these things. Or I feel that she can't ask us to be sympathetic to her in her situation when she can't convey back to us that you know, she made a terrible choice, she wishes that she never went, husband's done this, her husband's done that. It's just, to me it's all wrong. And if she has shown or were to show emotion now, it would just be classed as crocodile tears. And in one way I do feel sad. I'm annoyed at her reactions and her attitude, but it's as if she's telling us, I went to live there for 4 years and now it hasn't worked out, so I want to come home from my adventures. That's the message I'm getting off her, not the fact that it's, please, this is a terrible place, I made a huge mistake, I want to come back. No, there's none of that off her. I'm not heartless. I understand she has a kid and she is telling us she wants a better life for her son, and obviously she's telling us she wants to fight for him. But see, but if she 100% really means that she wants a better life for him, then she hasn't got to be selfish. Isn't If she really wants a better life for him, it can't be based on her feelings and her wants. She would have to put that child first, and we are a kind nation. We wouldn't want her kid to die. She has been over there before and she's lost her kids. And if there's a possibility of doing the ultimate sacrifice, that her kid would get a better way of living if he lived here without her. But of course that's her choice to make, and whether or not she can do the sacrifice. And I think she needs to have an implantation put in her arm or something, that she can't get pregnant again and want to come back, because we are such a kind nation that we had her into a camp because to us it was almost cruel to keep her there in a war while she was pregnant. See, we are such a kind country, and this is the thing. I don't want our kindness to get taken advantage of. There are, and also she has told us that she hardly ate. She was starving. Well, if she's gonna be starving, the baby's gonna be starving. So how is that baby going to eat, grow? And who's to say that the food that they do eat isn't our soldiers who have gone over there defending our country? And she wants us to have a bit of kindness or compassion to her. I don't think it works anymore. I honestly don't think that works. It is too much of a risk and too many possibilities that she might not be a monster. She may have stayed at home and been a housewife, but we don't know anything for sure. And I think we need to protect our country and our kids.